Alright, so today we're doing multiplying decimals with arrays. And before we get going too far, I'm just going to offer you this warning. This content may be unsuitable for your parents. Okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, you know how frustrating it is when you go home and you're trying to tell your parents about something and they're like, this is not how I learned it when I was in school. Okay, let me just tell you. It's like a secret, okay? This is not how your parents learned this in school. Okay? So, this will be one of those lessons that when you take it home, it's super cool and you should definitely show it to your parents. You should show your parents everything you're learning and thinking about and just all about your life. They love you and they're interested. But this is going to get you that reaction. And parents, if you're watching this, I'm just trying to help you out. I'm not trying to be insulting. I know how frustrating it is when your kid comes home with homework and they think that you should know this and you're smart people with, degrees and lives of your own and successful businesses, and I've just given them something crazy. So, if this way of looking at it does not work for you, it's okay. There are more traditional methods, and we're going to go with that. But just so you can see this, I've made this video for you. Okay? So we're going to start with just, a review. Okay? What is an array? Okay? So an array is a way to show a multiplication problem. Okay? So it has rows and columns. Okay, so here's a pretty simple array right here. Okay. So this array has 2 rows. Okay. And it has 3 in each row, so 3 columns. So, and I think there might be an N in columns. So this shows 2 times 3. Okay, so what I did was I have 2 here, okay, and then I have 3 at the top, okay, and then I just filled in my array so that it would look like a rectangle, okay, and that's how I have 6 total. So 2 times 3 equals 6. Okay, so what does that have to do with decimals? Well, that's an excellent question. Let's write it down. What does this have to do with decimals? Okay, so remember we made an agreement with those blue base 10 blocks. I'm looking for a nice blue to use. So those blue base 10 blocks, that's a little darker than I wanted it to be. Let's see, like this. Okay, there's a base 10 block that looked kind of like this, right? And it had some lines like this. And we agreed that this base 10 block used to stand for 100, right? But we decided we could let this stand in for 1. So 1 whole. Okay, so now you go back up here and you imagine these as some base 10 blocks. 1 flat, 2 flats, 3 flats, 4 flats, 5 flats, 6 flats. So 2 flats times 3 flats equals 6 flats. Okay, so if this is 1, then that rod base 10 block that looks something like this, okay, we agreed that that was worth 1/10. Okay, and then that meant that this little tiny cube, the unit, was worth 1/100th. Okay, so we have to agree that all of this is true. Okay, so now that we've agreed on all of that, if I have a number sentence like, let's do 2 1/10, okay, let that autofocus, times 3 4/10. Okay, So I'm going to do this as base 10 blocks, okay? So this 2, I'm going to say 2, 1, 2, okay? Whoops, sorry, autofocus, not my friend. Okay, so 2 and 1/10, right? Okay, and this 3 and 4/10 is, remember, just like with my array up here, like when I did 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, I counted this one twice, right? So down here, I'm going to do the same thing. I got 3 and 4/10, 1, 2, 3, okay? And then these 4/10, I'm going to lay them on their side, okay? All right. And then, just like I did up here, I'm just going to fill in the rest of the array. So the rest of the array has got to make this like rectangle kind of shape, right? Okay. Probably should have done that in another color, okay? But, so, how did I get here? Again, I'm just going to go through it again. If you need to fast forward a little bit because you didn't need to see it again, I'm just going to remind you. This was the 2 and 1/10. Autofocus. Okay. This is the 3, 2, 3, and 4/10. Right here. Okay. And then everything else I'm doing is just making the array. Okay. I'm just filling in the rest. Okay. Okay. Okay, and then I have one tiny little problem. Do you see how I can't fit another 10th here? Okay, but happily I've got this little tiny unit, right? And each of these 10s are 1 unit wide, and so I can do this. Okay, so let's look at what I've got here. Okay, because I've now filled in the rest, just like I fill in any array. Okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 6 of these, right? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of these, okay? And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. Okay, well, I can't work with 11 tenths. Okay, I've got to do a trade, right? So I'm going to trade 10 of these. So, like I would put this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, these 8 plus these 2. Okay, that would be 10. So I'm actually going to take these 10. Okay, and now I'm going to have 7 of these, right? And there's only 1 of those tenths that wouldn't fit into that, and I still have 4 little hundredths. Okay, so what number is that? That is 7 and 14 hundredths. Okay, now let's look at this, and we're just going to do some checking with the traditional algorithm. Okay, so, and this is the moment where that your parents have been waiting for, because they're like, this is not going to work. This is craziness. Okay. Or they've been saying, wow, Miss Ellen is a genius. And if that's what you've been saying, parents, thank you. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, then come over here, place holding 0. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, and then I add it all up. 4, 8 plus 3 is 11. 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay, I have one spot here, 1 here to move the decimal. So I've got to take my decimal from here and move it 2 places over. And then what I wind up with, and I know that just blew your mind, but there it is, the exact same answer, 7 and 14 hundredths. So you are always welcome to use the method that works best for you, And if this traditional method works for you, this is what you should use. But if anything about this is confusing you, base 10 blocks could be the way to go. So I just wanted to give you that overview of multiplying decimals with arrays. And then just kind of that little proof there at the bottom. Okay? Thanks.